Hey everybody, Ryan MacEachern here. As you can see behind me, fall spring has turned into second winter up here in the North Country, New Brunswick, Canada. So we're just gonna go out today and pick away at a few habitat projects, or one in particular, I guess. Gonna go up to a small kill plot that I built. I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. It was based off Brian and Jared's plan. Planted a couple apple trees up there and just made a small little opening for my bow. I was a brand new bow hunter. Still am, really. I've been at it. I guess this will be my third season coming up here, and still trying to get a kill under my belt. Anyway, that's another scenario, but we're gonna go up there and clean out a much bigger area. I mean, I say bigger, but it's all relative, right? The area will probably only be maybe a quarter acre once it's all opened. Narrow enough to shoot across, and hopefully pick up some bucks traveling across the ridge. You know, tending doe groups, and they seem to run that ridge a lot. I found a lot of scrapes and rubs and trails and stuff up there, and so just gonna enhance that area as much as I can, get some food on the ground up there, a couple mock scrapes and stuff. But like I say, today we're just gonna go in with the chainsaw and do some opening and cut the stuff up there and get ready for a little later in the spring. There I'll start clearing it off and like I say, get something planted up there, probably just rye or maybe a multi-species mix for the year, just to kind of build some diversity back in the soil and take care of all that good stuff. So if you're interested, I guess just follow along. I'll take a few videos up there and we'll see what we're up to. Well, what a difference a tank can make, I'll tell you. Got rid of that big old pine and instantly lit up in here, even though it's gray skies. So I came up in here the other day and I had one tank through. You can see all this stuff falling down with the snow on top of it. Apple tree back here, kind of hard to see. You can see the stake there for it now. And another apple tree in behind that bush there. Started working my way over here, a couple jack pine out. A bunch of that's all red maple and just trash. Moose maple, we call it. What the heck's the name of it there? It's got a big leaf. Oh goodness. Striped maple. There's some striped maple in there. A little bit of white birch. Just all junk pretty much. And so I'm gonna have a bow hunting stand in that back pine. It's, you know, good cover in behind there. Use this one. I'll keep these two pine here and use this one as cover. And then I'm just going to squeeze it down to 15, 20 yards. I'll take that white pine out there. So I guess that'll take that white pine out there, say 20, 25 yards across, just to narrow it in a bit. And then once I get over there to that old broken top pine right there, it opens up again a little bit there. And so probably another tank of fuel. I'll be over there and we'll make another video there, and you'll see there's going to be kind of a kidney beaned, I don't know, third of an acre to half an acre plot right in the nice travel corridor the bucks are using through the day. And I think this is going to be a nice little project, turn out well. So here we go. Fog rolling off the river this morning. Up over the other side of the valley there in the distance. Some nice morning up here. The sun's finally shining. And I got quite a bit of work done yesterday. So there's the tree there that I'm going to hang the mock scrape off of. I'm gonna cut a bit of a sneak trail over to the property line out around. Kind of, there's another plateau up there, and there's a heavy deer trail coming onto the property up there, and it's hard to see, but there's some rubs up in here. I guess you can't see them, but there's a few rubs up in there, and then it meets up with the main trail that travels from this south side, which we're on, over to the north side. Like more of a migration trail, I think. You know, they travel that down over to the corn and beans below. So I'll also have a sneak trail coming up in here that's going to meet just the deer trails higher up on the hill. So if anything's traveling down in there, they're no matter what if they're coming from the west to the east or the north, they're all going to filter down into this scrape here, and hunting opportunity from that second pine. So that's going to be awesome. Cut out all the brush there. I made a pile with some of it, and then I wised up and started piling it here against my tree stand and blocking. I cut a big pine there, you can see. And so I'm going to fill this whole wall in here to keep them from coming up and going down beside me. I left a little gap over here because they have a bit of a trail. They have a bit of a trail beat down there, so I'll allow them that escape route. And so I cut a block of those smaller pines out in here. Oh goodness, didn't get that part cleaned up yet, but I think I'll leave this. Maybe take a few of these trees and over to that bush of maple there. Just take maybe 5 or 6 trees out of here to widen it a little bit. And then cut these pine here. And this is the second little pocket I was talking about. So I'll just leave this pretty much the way it is. Leave those few pine there. Well, they'll probably get in the way. Actually, they'll probably be coming out. I'll leave that little bushy maple there. Just trying to keep it as tight as possible, but it's becomes a bit of a guessing game, I guess, as you probably know. But yes, I think I will take those pine out. Then it'll round it down nicely in there, and it sort of drops off steep by that second pine there. So anyways, I'll probably just leave this little part to the deer if I have to hunt it. Maybe do it mobile or from the ground. But most of the hunting will be done out of that pine tree there, I think. I think that'll be the best bet. Right in the center of the figure 8 bean shape, whatever. And you can see there's the deer trail. They got her beat down. They're not using it yet because as I mentioned, or maybe I didn't, the beans were cut clean last year. A lot of times they don't get to that field and it's left standing. But so I'm going to also establish a wider trail here for them, and not too far down in there there's a skidder trail that's I'm going to try to make into machine access, and down closer to the gas road I'm going to eventually have a little oak flat there. There's a stand of aspen, which is real thick. It needs thinned out, and that'll create some nice bedding once it's thinned. The stand's thinned, and lots of food in there, and they'll bed up against that because of all the conifer around. Well, I'm excited to walk up into the food plot today and show everybody the progress. Just on my way in here today, I widened out my foot trail to come in here, just wide enough that I can get a bike or a skid steer up. You can see the road right down here. This there's a spot I can park my truck or vehicle along the access road there, and make our way up about 100 yards into the food plot. Property boundaries right over here. You can see the mature trees there are kind of the line, and then beyond that's probably a 10-year-old cut on the neighbor, maybe a little less. So what I'll do is just run a deer fence from that old busted off pine right there. That'll be pretty much where my ground bind will be, and down to the road, about 100-yard span. That should be, you know, lots to keep the deer from coming up in behind me, and still make them feel safe. I mean, they'll just exit the top corner of that cut now instead. Well, that's the plan anyways. So as you can see, I thinned out my path here, so it's nice and quiet coming in, and also wide enough to get a bike up into. So last time I was here, I did some TSI along the back. Discovered that the deer could walk off their main trail and see me sitting in my old stand. So I guess this is the progress. Super happy with how it turned out. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than the first video, and it goes down here probably 125 yards. We'll go for a walk and check that out. I left a gap here so the deer can filter in off the ridge if they choose to, but it's kind of tight, and they can come in here. And like I built that wall back there, and like I say, I left that brush in the middle. You can see. Now moving over here, this is where the food plot, well, the food plot used to stop about here. It was just a small little opening, and I hunted from there, but every deer in the county seen me. Back behind this wall of brush that I made. And so now any deer traveling that trail, they're gonna have to come down in here and have a look around. So moving over east to the east, I'm gonna be hunting out of this tree now. It's starting to rot, so maybe eventually I'll have a blind in there behind this for some cover, but an elevated blind. So this will be the focal point of the entire plan in here. Will be a mock scrape right here at 20 yards. So any deer filtering in from over this way will kind of work their way around that shrub and want to use the mock scrape. And coming back in here, I've made a sneak trail that comes down around the back side of the wall from the trail. And I cut off the east-west movement with some brush up there. So hopefully anything traveling that main trail will come down in here or come down in here and work their way towards the scrape there. Now I also started another pile of brush in around my stand. I'll build that up, and I was thinking maybe a small pocket of switchgrass right there just for some extra cover for myself. I got a few pounds of switchgrass in the freezer that I haven't used up, so be a good spot to try that out maybe. Now I haven't got this stuff cleaned up over here, but I left a little escape trail for the deer to bust off out of the ridge if they feel the need. Kind of narrowed it in here a bit as well to reduce their visibility as they're traveling through. Make sure they have to walk through the whole plot instead of just having to peek. Gonna come in and clean all this stuff up today, but this is that second pocket that I mentioned in the earlier video. So this food plot now is, got to be close to 100 yards long. I would say 100 yards long. Not able to see from one end to the other, even here in the spring. So, super happy with how it turned out. There's some fresh deer poop. And this is kind of their trail that I've built it off of as it leads here and heads down the ridge to the east. There's a little rub from last fall. And so the trail breaks out here, and actually about 30 yards over that way there's a four-way that comes north-south down off the ridge and east-west, and they bed and lay down over there as well. There's a few knolls. So coming out of here, hopefully later this spring, I'm going to have a well-defined trail for them that's going to make its way down to the next plateau lower on the ridge, which will be the site of a oak plantation I'm going to create. I've got a bunch of acorns and probably 10 or 12 seedlings that a friend gave me. I'm going to start down there putting some oak trees every year, and that'll be just adjacent to a stand of aspen that's been growing. We're going to have a thinning project in there coming up, which should help put some browse down lower to the deer again, and allow them some feed, close to the conifer bedding area that's down there. Hopefully hold a few deer and another hunting opportunity. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And thanks for following along, I guess, and we'll check in again.